Hi, so I'm here with Claire Mark. She is a meditation guru, expert, yoga teacher for many, many years, and I am privileged and excited to have her here to learn more about meditation. Claire, so there's just so much mystery around meditation, at least for me when I first started a practice of meditation, and it just seemed like very woo-woo and like mysterious.
Yeah.
So can you kind of bring it to life, like simplify it, make it real for us? Like, well, what is meditation? Like,
Absolutely. And I would agree with that. I know for myself, when I was first introduced to meditation, I was overwhelmed and I felt like the instructions I constantly got were to stop thinking. And I never could do that. And I always felt like I was doing it wrong. And I really didn't find meditation until much later on in my yoga career, where I realized that meditation to me, and the definition that I love is from John Kabat-Zinn, who he's kind of like the grandfather of the mindfulness practice, but he says that meditation is paying attention on purpose in the present moment, non-judgmentally. So it's just really honing our skill of attention, really kind of focus, awareness, and just being present, right? So often in our minds, we're thinking about the past or we're thinking about the future all the time, right, in the background. And when we can kind of really shift and just be in the present moment, it can change so much. So really that's kind of, in my opinion, this really, basic, grounded understanding of what meditation is.
that's really awesome. And from meditating and experience it, that is so accurate. That's exactly what I find it to be.
Yeah.
I find once you get that practice of just non-judgmental, just being present, you're so much more aware about yourself and your
Yes.
surroundings. And like a lot of times people have all this stress and what's going on in their head and their life and everything. And if they're not aware of their current state, it's so hard to deal with it. Right?
Absolutely. And I think often we're not aware, right? Like unless you have a meditation practice or unless you're in therapy or you're, have a life where you're doing a lot of inward focus, we don't walk around questioning and asking and really like taking a pause to look inside and recognize, like, what am I thinking? The other thing I really learned from meditation that was amazing is not all of your thoughts are real and not all of your thoughts are important. You might have an issue with somebody and have an opinion about what happened in that moment. It could be wrong, and I think it's great. Like I used to think everything that I said was so important, meaning everything I thought was so important that I would say it, right? And now I recognize that like there's a beauty in taking a pause and questioning, like, what is that something to share? Is it not? Is that going to be beneficial to myself and to others? And again, that's the other benefit I love with meditation is like recognizing how important the pause is. Being in response instead of reactivity in communication with others and also with ourselves.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love the quote too. I often say like, the only time you can do anything about the future or reconcile anything about the past is in your present moment.
Absolutely.
But we're always looking forward and looking backward.
Oh God, always, right?
And you can't do anything about either. The only thing you can do is what's right now.
Right.
So that's very awesome. And I think that's essentially what it is for me. It's the ability to like just be here and observe, and you learn so much about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And you said too, like the non-judgmental part I think is so important because I think we all have kind of storylines about ourselves, and a lot of it isn't positive. And we might not even know that it's in there. And so when you kind of take a pause and again, it's not about not thinking. It's more, I think, this inquisitive nature of like understanding yourself better, taking the pause, the quietness to recognize what are my thoughts, what's actually happening into my head, and then approaching those thoughts, whatever arises, with an attitude of non-judgmental attention and awareness, oh my God, it's magical. I think it's, for me, it was life-changing. And I also think life-changing in terms of like how I walk around in the world and who I am, but also in how I react and respond with other people, my child, my partner, my parents, my sister, all that stuff. Those relationships, I think, grow and become so much deeper when you have an ability to understand yourself better.
Oh yeah.
Right?
For sure. For sure.